I figured I should explain this. Also, is Johnny also playing Gen 1? Am I accidentally copying Johnny? I have to explain myself then. How about that? Can I make this worse? Like, if it's gonna look bad, it should look worse, right? Does that work? Okay. We're not playing Let's Go Pikachu, I'm sorry. Maybe someday. I figured I should explain what I'm doing first, at least a little bit. That way I don't seem like I'm just copying some Call Me Johnny. Apparently he's doing this. I didn't look into it. I have so many pores to look at. So you can look at this and you'd be like, oh my god, Chris, you already have a Gen 1 Living Dex. What the hell are you doing with your life? And I'd say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore. Look. We just saw the 3DS shut down, and it's had me like, alright. The window is closing to do stupid nonsense. We will soon not be able to do stupid nonsense anymore. And I need to do stupid nonsense. So if you don't know what's going on here, for the Gen 1 and 2 Virtual Console releases of Pokemon in general, also, hi everyone, I didn't say hi. Hi! They can be pushed through the Pokemon Bank, which can be pushed through the Pokemon Home. The eShop is shut down, so I think it's okay to say you can modify your 3DS, pull saves from the 3DS onto your PC, play in an emulator like we're going to do, export that save, and put it back into the 3DS Pokemon Virtual Console, and then take those Pokemon out into Pokemon Home eventually. That's the grand idea here. But what I want all of them to be from the Kanto region, like this. And they get a little Game Boy symbol up there. Isn't it cute? This is the wasteful thing I'm doing with my time. That's the crux of it. Essentially, I want to, on the emulator end, genuinely catch as many Pokemon as I can. This will involve also opening up other versions and beginning playthroughs on there. I'll probably save those for off stream just for the sake of everyone's time. And to get everything onto a save and then push it through. And that's basically it. Until I make this even crazier, but I'll probably wait to explain that for another time. But also, then there's an issue where I'm like, I want the same OT. I want the same original trainer. Chris is my name. But if I want it consistent with, say, the insanity I've already done, I think I bragged about this at some point. I have mostly 2 standard completed a Galarian Dex. This involves every alchemy. I don't want to redo this for a Chris OT to have it consistent. No. So I'm going back and making the other ones Mykonos. And frankly, I just wanted to play a lot of the old Pokemon games anyway. So I figure for at least to this, we'll stream Pokemon Blue. That's the crux. Are there any questions? Is anyone confused about the brand of insanity I officially have here? I have almost everything here. If you look at Appleton, I got it from Tubal Lord, which honestly is pretty great on its own, but not me. Not me. Hydrate, good idea. I just brushed my teeth. What am I doing with my life? 1, 2. Okay. Pokemon Green did win the poll, but I don't think I can use that with Home. Also, I wanted to be able to read the game I was playing. Also, I didn't offer it as an option. That was Kevin. Blame Kevin. Jirachi, yes, a Game Boy dumper. That was one thing I was looking into. There's something called the GB operator for like $50, and honestly, I'm still kind of thinking about it because it would work for the GBA games, but here nor there. So essentially, the long-term proposition of this will eventually be catch every Pokemon possible in their original game and then push them through. So for example, this is the one we're winding up on. Tornadus, this is a Pokemon Black and White Tornadus. specifically from the Dream Radar, which you can tell from the Dream Ball. That's an authentic Keldeo encounter, I believe. Stupid nonsense like that. I don't even know what you're doing in there. All the X and Y Pokemon from X and Y. All the Sinnoh Pokemon from Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. That's down the road. I'm not worrying about that today or for a while. But that's what's up. So, that brings us over here. And I can shut down my Switch. For now, we are just worrying about playing Pokemon and catching way too many Pokemon. And that's all it'll take, ladies and gentlemen. Tornadus does blow. E-Double asks, I was going to ask what you're attempting to do. It might then assume you tempered your save use a cheat and not let you transfer them. Yes, it is a concern to my testing. As long as a Pokemon reads on the... And let me know how the audio is balanced. As long as Pokemon Bank can read that it is legitimate, that's fine, and it works. You can tamper with the save in the ways that we are, which will just be hardly at all, really. It's more MU side and glitch side that we're doing things, but you can even do like the infinite rare candy and master ball glitch. It won't deny you. It'll deny like the missing number, but it won't deny a Pokemon that has had infinite rare candies attached to it, right? So that's where this is good. Let me... I can never tell what is just the border here and what is just the oh no, that's not what what are we doing? We're doing it live. Okay. But you know, those are the grand down the road plans. Today we're just playing Pokemon Blue. Surfing Pikachu. Surfing Pikachu would be pretty cool. I don't think I've ever gotten one. I'm not sure if that can transfer. There was like I went down a rabbit hole. Like I've been wanting to do this for like a year or two. If you got that GB operator thing I mentioned, where you basically just plug a cart into a custom device and then I think it USB inserts, you could hypothetically get the Pokemon Stadium gift Pokemon and push them through that way. That feels too illegitimate for me. So, yeah. It'd be cool though. Is the Living Dex that much different? I just complete the Dex, but I assume after Gen 1 it's just a bunch of breeding or leveling. Probably. I just enjoy catching the Pokemon, especially in the newer games where it's a lot easier. But it's mostly just this is what I'm fixated on and have been fixated on, so I'm just gonna do it. That's kind of where it ends up on this. Also, all the blank space way over there will make sense later. I have a thing set up. It's a very common Pokemon streamer thing, apparently. Alright, so this one... We're picking our trainer name. That's my name. It's going to be set. We need to figure out a rival. Ones that came to my mind were Joey, who's in chat, on his way to work. Nick's on vacation, so it would be kind of funny to mess around with Nick. And then also Kevin, because Kevin is kind of my rival if you think about it. Thank goodness this fits. If it was just too long to not fit, that would have ruined everything. I saved to find that out here, just in case you could watch me break down in real time. Ooh. I'm not sure if you can transfer the Amnesia Psyduck. That's what kind of kept me from going and finding that out. Because I feel like that's an illegitimate move on it, so it may get blocked in terms of what's available on the 3DS. But it was once a legitimate Psyduck you could get, right? So... Joey requests to save his name for Pichu. Okay. I'm gonna say Kevin is a good one then. We got a couple Kevin votes. Also, this saves me from having to figure out an actual vote option just right this second. Kevin. Fuck that guy. It seems fitting. Okay. Wish I could sit down and play a video game for 1 second and be like, yes, that's enough, actually. No more, actually. Arid sand. When we get to the generations with longer name inputs, if we get there, I think that would work great. That way I can never forget. Can we get the map now? That's probably my question, right? Can I just go ahead and get this? Okay, Kevin's at Grandpa's lab. Never mind. I have a DM gift from Spider Knife. Oh. Okay. We have an emote. I think I will put that up after the stream. How do I make a poll? Poll! Here we go. The last poll I did was boy or girl? Oh, that was for Balan Wonderworld. Okay. I guess that makes sense, right? Alright, I'm going to put this on for 2 minutes, should be enough. This is the starter poll. It had to open up a new tab for that. Okay, we are doing great. We are going fine. Mudslap is a pretty good dumb move. Yeah, I haven't called attention to the SGB border, but man. I think Charmander makes it out pretty okay in that, but Bulbasaur and Squirtle, they're not doing well. Understandably so, might I add. What happened to all those other Pokemon? Where'd they go? I think Kevin was a good pick for the rival name. Please don't take a few weeks to visit us, thank you. Now, is Twitch auto-updating this? It is. There are already 6 votes for Bulbasaur, and only 1 vote for Charmander and Squirtle. I was expecting Charmander to sweep this. What the heck? We'll pull up their sprites here. Seed. They didn't put these in order, did they? That's weird. They were just planting Charmander up front so you'd make the wrong decision. Bulbasaur win! Hey! Well, see? I rigged the rigged Pokemon Green poll in my favor, but Bulbasaur still wins. I picked the wrong one. Okay. I was really expecting you all to make me suffer. Thank you. I guess it's fitting that we start with number 1, right? And I'm gonna be boring and say no nicknames, just for my own stringent purposes. Whoa, there's a Bulbasaur over there! Way over there. This does give Kevin Charmander. I don't know how to feel about that one. Alright. There's no pressure here, but I know if I somehow lose this, it'll look really bad. Should I have all caps Kevin? That's how it treats all the other names. A rousing first start. Pokemon Black Creepypasta. Oh, right, that thing. I haven't thought about that thing in a long time. Yeah. Oh. Didn't do much damage. Okay, we got a critical hit. This could work. I do have my potion. I guess we're completely safe. I'm stressing for no reason. I always like to try to do this battle without the potion, though. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Never mind. Alright, no, we've already killed the no potion run. No Nuzlocke rules. We are just playing a standard game here, thankfully. We'll save the Nuzlocke for another time. Joey, I had that same thought. I remember asking my dad at the gas station, like, I found the save feature, and I hit save. It's like, Chris saved the game. I was like, is that all I had to do? Did I just save the game? Everyone's in it is saved? If I was raised more religious, it probably would have been even more confusing. Make it fight. I think Nuzlocke runs are kind of fun, right? But it's been so long since I've even done a normal run of a lot of Pokemon games that I'm kind of like... Probably do one at some point with a certain J-Tart 9, but we'll be doing it a little differently. Right, Creepy Black. I'm familiar with that fan terminology. I wish I had Pokeballs, because I usually try to catch the level 4 Pidgey on this route. Just to save myself some time. I have become very spoiled by the new games and the XP share and everything. So having to individually level every member of our team is going to be something. And it's even at the perfect catch point, too. Ah. Okay, so we get our potions. When we are considering ourselves finished with Pokemon, I do need to keep a rare candy on hand, because I am not afraid to just spam a bunch of those once we're kind of through it, just to make some things easier. Come on, don't do me like this. Okay. Ah, whew. Alright, that's good. We're getting somewhere. I didn't complete my thought. That is correct, Spider Knife. I do want to do infinite rare candy glitch. Oh, this is dicey. Okay, we're good. Oh, okay, we're good. It's so perilous. I've been back in Legends Arceus the last few days, and just bowling through everything without a thought or worry has not conditioned me well to actually playing a video game. In Legends Arceus, the only thing I've been worried about is fall damage. Alright. I want to read the signs for the flavor, but sometimes it is just like, yep, that is the thing I've known my entire life. This kid really makes Weedle sound a lot cooler. He doesn't offer like a counterpoint of like, well, Caterpie can eventually learn Confusion, which is a psychic move which beats poison. He's just like, Weedle is poison. Caterpie exists though, so that's kind of cool. Not wanting to release the Pokemon is the thing, yeah. I've never more than once done a Nuzlocke for fun. Something about putting all that time in just to systematically undo every part of it along the way. It doesn't quite gel with my brain. I can get behind it, but it isn't something... Like, when I think I'm going to replay a Pokemon game, that's like never my first thought. It's usually just I'm going to play the game standard because I'm boring, I guess, but... It's more something interesting to watch than do myself, I think. Which is why I'm going to eventually do one, I guess. Remake, Unova. Yeah. I've never, I got Black 2 and White 2. I don't think I ever actually finished them. Right? No, right. Because I got the Colress in... Pops up in Sun and Moon, right? And I was like, I don't remember this guy. I guess I'm supposed to know who this is. Was he in Black 1 and White 1? I don't remember. I'm a fake fan. I think my issue is that I was like really excited for Black and White, and I played like 130 hours of Black version, and I played so much of it. I almost got the full Pokédex in Black, which I very rarely, or I never did actually. Even just getting close to it, I never did until that point, outside of like really hardcore playing Gen 1 as a kid. It wasn't until recently that I started finishing Pokédexes, so getting that close back then was kind of wild for me, but due to that, I played so much of it that when Black 2 and White 2 came out, I was like, oh, these are really cool. It's also pretty similar. I think I'll just keep playing Black and trying to clear it out first, and then naturally. Never got around to Black 2, White 2. Okay. I don't have any Pokeballs yet, so I can't do anything. Miss Puffles, hello! Yes, we did just start. Miss Puffles. I don't know why it took me a second to register that as something that tickled me, but I did. Great, first branch. Okay. New Game Plus? Has anyone ever made a New Game Plus mod for Pokemon? I don't know how you could do that, but it sounds like something someone would try to do. Yeah, that's the thing about BDSP. Barring like any platinum preferences one may have, it is just Diamond and Pearl again, so at a point. It may not be the remake everyone was really hoping for, or whatever, but it is Diamond and Pearl with conveniences, and hey, at a point, it's not so bad. We do a Mew, I could stream Mew. I think in my mind I relegated that to I'm gonna start another save and do that there, and just emulator speed through it. I hadn't really thought about any precautions I need to take for this. Because there's the Mew glitch I grew up with, and that doesn't produce a legitimate, air quote, Mew for bank and home. But I know there is a Mew glitch that does. So I have not looked into that. I like skimmed through something on how to do it just to be like, okay, that seems reasonable. But yeah, so maybe I just went through the dialogue again. But maybe not in this save, but maybe eventually. Miss Puffles, yes, your name is humorous to me. I am laughing with you, not at you. I will grab some of these. I have limited inventory space. I forgot. Alright, in case I die, there's all my money spent. That way I don't have to worry about it. 240 hours on Y, Jesus. think I put maybe 70 or 80 in the X version. 10 elements! Whoa! Down the line was Mario. Pokemon Blue, Pokemon, Do I even have audio coming through? That's a great question. I think it went through, but I don't have it on to play for me. There we go. I got the end of it, thank God. Whew. New scene set up, you know how it goes. Chimbus, how do you get all the stars and stuff in Gen 1? I will be setting up, probably on my own time, just so I don't waste everyone else's time. Setting up new instances of GBA emulators, and then getting them to points where I can trade, and just trading back and forth. I also have the option, if you trade out to Gen 2 and breed, and then trade back into Gen 1, when you export those Pokemon to Bank and then home, they will register as being from Kanto, which is what I want. So that's also on the table. Hatching eggs in Gen 2 kind of sucks. I guess with emulator speed up, it's not bad, but it's not lovely. Audio was choppy. No, not again.
Nice.
Something happened. Miss Puffles, thank you for the follow. Which audio is choppy? Is it everything? Is it me? Is it the game? Also, hi, Harpy Player Joe. And hello, Miss Puffles. Audio seems fine at 10 elements. Okay. I was worried because we streamed Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog over on FTCR Friday night. And I had a... It's me, not the game. That might be a refresh to stream thing. Yeah, but we were streaming over there. And I had a... How can I explain it? At some point on my PC, my microphone sample rate got set to 48,000 kilohertz. Everyone else's is 41 or 44.100, right? So over time, that was creating a lag between me and them, I think. Because I set mine to match them, which is my usual default, and it was fine after that. But due to that, I've been a little...
Don't worry, Spyro. I won't be needing any more of your money.
Hey, Chris, it's me, Joey. Got a minute? How are your Pokemon doing? My Rattata's raring to go, just like always. It's the only one I have. I'm going to become a great trainer with it. Alright, later. Click.
What a great reminder of what I'm not looking forward to in Gen 2. Thank you, Joey, for the bits. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, that was worrying to me about, I haven't even looked back on the FTCR stream, not gonna lie. I was just like, oh. I know it's bad. I don't want to know how bad. I just know it is bad. Okay, so, like, I'm gonna do something controversial here, now that I've caught that. I'm gonna scroll up in chat and see what's going on, because there were some things I wanted to say before I got sent off by audio. Miss Puffles, we could catch a missing no. I can't send it out, but we could catch one for the memes. We'll be running into it anyway, right? BDSP has the current good point that you don't need to pay twice the original price for Diamond Pearl Plan. It's a pretty good reason to get BDSP over the originals. Is this Super Game Boy Red and Blue? I think I have that on. Yes, I think I have that on. Okay, I got another level 3 Rattatas. This actually works out perfect. Alright. For the Living Dex, I want one of each. I'm only going to count one of these Rattata. And then when I evolve it later, we will count that as the third. That's what we're doing. It won't make sense for now, but it might make sense later. It seems fine. Alright, I would like to see a Pidgey now. TCR streaming murder, isn't that against terms of service? I wanted to see if I could push it and say we have killed Sonic the Hedgehog, or Sonic the Hedgehog has been murdered. Because I'm not sure if Twitch would let you do that. But I decided I would not do that, and instead type something with a morbid crime. And I was like, that probably won't get Twitch on our doorstep. Here's a Pidgey. Yeah, we went a while on Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog. At the start I was like, we probably shouldn't do any voices, but they wanted to do voices, and I was like, I won't yuck anyone's yum. Let's do some voices, that'll be fun. Made it take forever, but it was fun, so it worked out. Are there weird Pokemon Go exclusives? Yes. Meltan and Melmetal? Those weird little gray Ditto dudes? I've taken care of those a long time ago as an avid Pokemon Go player, so no worries there. But there are technically two. What is my strat for collecting, everyone? For the most part, I'm going to balance camping out and getting everything with actually trying to make progress, right? So for example, something like a Safari Zone, I'll probably just go through it at first to get the Warden's Teeth and the Surf HM and stuff like that, right? Otherwise, I'll be there camping chancy encounters and everyone will be miserable. So that's what's up with that. I'm still catching up on chat. I'm sorry, I'll try to be quicker. You set up the missing number glitch and always got Mewtwo as a wild encounter. I think it pulls from your name, so if your name did something specific... I meant to hit Leech Seed. Okay. If your name has something specific in it, that can generate a Mewtwo. Gen 1 glitches are so interesting. This live overlay is cool, right? It's called Poke Live? It can automatically read data from a few different emulators, I think up to like Gen 7 or something. It is really nice. There are all kinds of like different themes and stuff. You can have like every generation set, different sprites. There was like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon portraits too, which I almost went with. We named our pro tag Mykonos just because I want my OT consistent throughout the series, and I've already done pretty much a Gen 8 and 9 Living Dex with Mykonos. How am I going to get Alakazam and other trade Pokemon? I'm just going to prep another save in like red, and then just open another instance and set up the link trade through emulator functionality. I need one more Pidgey. One more Pidgey. Okay. If I was doing this smart, I would catch another Pidgey later. That might be the idea. Oh, I caught a Pokemon anyway. Alright, well I need experience anyway, so you know. I still haven't taken 80 doubles as Aurora, that's right. Oopsie. I'll get around to it someday. I'll steal it. Oh, that's perfect catch range. Hello, Cartoon Network Obama. I think you've said before that's either is or isn't what your name stands for, but that's just ingrained at this point. I want one more Pidgey. I'll just do it here. Remember when you had to go to like McDonald's or GameStop? Oh, I can't click, right? Even specific event Pokemon. Yes. I did that recently. I went to GameStop for the April Fool's Lechonk. It's the pig that can fly. I felt weird asking for that one, but I got it. So, that's in my Pokemon box now in Scarlet. Yeah, Melmetal is one of my mains also. He is very reliable for when I need a steel type. If this was yellow, I could just catch Pidgeotto in the forest, yes. Alright. There's our third Pidgey. So we're going to count one of those as our Living Dex Pidgey. I need to start doing some depositing here. I also need to do a lot of things in general. Someone's PC. Right! Back when you had to go meet the person who was running the PC. Alright. I don't remember if this is back when depositing Pokemon would heal them or not. Yeah, okay. This doesn't happen anymore, so every time I deposit a Pokemon in a PC in like Scarlet Violet, it always messes me up that they have like 1 HP left after I fall swipe them. I can never keep track of that. This is just a filter on this ROM, so I don't know if there's a way to swap them. I can go over here. Soon I'll need to pull up a guide of what's what. I am still catching up, don't worry. I like this Lechonk emote, by the way, that's very good. Yeah, Eevee is one I'm probably just going to pull out to Gen 2, actually. Oh man, that's a good point. I guess with emulator speed up is not so bad, right? I don't know if it's faster to just do that or start up a Gen 2 save on stream and start getting that going at that point, right? Skip encountering bills. Let's say someone's PC forever. We might be able to catch a Zubat. I'm hoping we can find one. I've heard things about the encounter rates on those. Messes me up a bit still that you can just completely bypass this fight with your rival if you want. In this case, the Golden Bolt. You don't have to come over here and fight him, and that is weird. There is a Pokemon I don't have. How about that? I hope you're all feeling my palpable, tangible tension here. Oh, the remakes first and then the older ones. That'd probably be more sensible than what I'm doing. Anything would be more sensible than what I'm doing, frankly. Poison Pin. Which birthday was worse? The one where I streamed Sonic 06 or when Kevin gifted you the fetish game on stream? Adventures of Chris was a good game. It did not appear to be a good game at first glance, but it was a well-designed game, it seemed like. So I'd say the Sonic 06 one was worse. Right, level 5 Sparrow, you can find him here. The Discord manager appeared in chat. Oh, I'm concerned. Oh, wait. Why are you hurting me? There. Hey. Oh, wait. Do I still have this set up?
Hey.
Okay, I think we're good. Oh, during that stream. Yes, yes. Someone from the community was here guiding the ship. Thank goodness. That was pretty cool. Alright, we gotta be careful with this leech seed running. Ooh. That does seem to happen every time someone streams an indie game, huh? Okay. We got a tiny bird. Alright, we're gonna run out and heal because I don't trust any of that. It is super weak. It's something though. I don't think I'd keep it, but it is something. Okay, so we got this going. Oh, wait. I just realized this overlay is gonna misgender that Nidoran, huh? I don't think there's anything I can do about that, unfortunately. Oops. Toxic and Leech Seed. Maybe that's the reason to keep Leech Seed. I forget about all the weird, one-off, weird nonsense things like that. Happy Pride Month. I can understand stopping at the SSN out of anything. Alright, Bulbasaur at level 9 feels fine. That feels okay. Alright, so here's our question. How much of this do we want to authentically do, and how much of this do we want to speed up so we're not just here all day watching me in this grass, you know what I mean? Oh, it even shifts places in real time. Look at that. Wow. I don't need to do anything with the stadium games. For my own curiosity, I think we could eventually load the save into stadium games and mess around that way, but we don't need to, you know what I mean? Emerald is one of the few I didn't have. I always heard that was a really good version. The way to play Gen 3, but never had it. I had Sapphire growing up. And when I was going through and eBaying a bunch of Pokemon games back before the prices were crazy, even back then Emerald was still like too much. Oh my god, that back sprite, what the fuck? It was like 80 or 90 for a boxed copy, maybe 100 or 200 back then. It was like too much. I was like, nah. Now I look at those prices and I'm like, oh my god, I should have did it. Jesus. But at the time, I forgot how much I paid for a box copy of Ruby, and even then it was kind of beat up. Okay, I didn't kill it. The Gen 2 remakes are so much money. I'm running out of money, speaking of. Oh, it didn't understand the assignment for a second. I was like, Pidgey? I didn't get a Pidgey. We don't sell any Squonky? Alright, well that one's gonna save me some grinding if I use this one. I'm catching these dudes. They'll be available later in the game. They're just gonna kinda buffer our party here, I think, for a while, though. You got Pokemon Channel. There you go. I keep telling JTart9 to stream Pokemon Channel. He's like, you want me to stream a game where I'm watching a game? I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't you? Everyone loves Pokemon Channel. There you go, Frankenmutt. There's the real fun. That's the real fun right there. Alright. I need to look at a Gen 1 attack thing. Cerebi, Gen 1, Nidoran female. What I want to do... Okay. Well, I have Bulbasaur. I don't need to worry about Brock. That's right. I spent so long assuming that we were just going to pick Charmander here today that I was like just already in the mode of like, I need to search something that can destroy Brock, because I don't have anything, but I do, so why am I worried? So the actual thing here then, I need to drop off Pidgey and a Nidoran female and work on this Sparrow, because it has a flying move already. Pidgey has Gust, but this is a normal move this gen, right? So like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, do I even want to keep Pidgey? You know what I mean? Don't use Psychic types, they're not that good here. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Cerebi's site has not changed. I was trying to find, the Terror Raids in Scarlet and Violet last night in Cerebi, and it was like 300 hyperlinks on the right side of the Scarlet Violet page, and I was just like squinting through them trying to see where the heck the page for that was. It was... God bless Joe Cerebi. Amazing. Pecking growl. Okay. Pulsing on the mic. Pulsing light on the mic? There is something going on there, isn't there? Well, it's picking up all my gross mouth noises. I wonder if I was just breathing weird. A little embarrassing. It might just be my breathing. It is like almost 80 Fahrenheit here. That might just be me. It was something hitting the mic? I guess that's happening. We'll keep an eye out for that. I think I fixed it. That's the concerning part. I didn't do anything. So I guess it will just be back later. Sand attack, karate chop, and bite are also normal in this generation. If I don't breathe, I won't make that noise. Just stop breathing, bro. That's fair. One more fix. 1 second. Quick pause. I need to see more of chat. There we go. I want to gain a level as Sparrow just to help me with this blue fight, and then I want to fight blue for the experience. People did bite each other a lot. I don't know what was up with people doing that back then, but people would just bite people. Very weird. Yeah, Mankey's not here till yellow. Something I often forget about. Alright, there's a level 3 Sparrow we can bash our level 5 Sparrow up against. That did so much damage. Okay. We're doing okay. Why does his beak look like that? Why does he just look like that in general is honestly probably the best question you can ask. Mickey's in red. Oh, is he? I should have something easily referenceable that I can look at for this stuff. That'd be a good before stream 2 kind of thing to compile. I don't have that. I don't know why I didn't do that. This was kind of on a whim today. I finished the overlay and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start it today because if I don't start it today, I'll probably keep putting it off. So I didn't have everything ready. I just finished all the overlay stuff by like 4:10, 4:15, and I was like, you know what? We're just going. I need to catch this too. So an issue I was thinking is like, is there only one moonstone per game? Like, do you have to choose which Netherrain you give it to? But then I'm like, are both even available in either game? That seems like a pretty easy version difference, right? Again, the kind of thing I should have looked up but didn't. Alright. So we got our 19. I think we can squeeze that in. Do you have enough moonstones for everything? Oh, okay. Then what am I thinking of? Maybe I'm conflating how hard some of the elemental stones were to get in Gen 2 with this? That might be what I'm thinking. Gold, silver evolution stones, I remember it's like you had to have one person on your phone and maybe they'd call you now and then. Or something, it's been so long. I didn't have the best strategy guide for gold, silver going up, so a lot of my info is kind of outdated. It was also like a mean strategy guide. Like, it would just bully a lot of the Pokemon inside of it. I think if you go to Strategy Wiki, their gold, silver playthrough, all their little Pokemon boxes with blurbs about the Pokemon, that text was all taken from that really mean strategy guide. It's real sassy. That just normalized me to bully Pokemon growing up. The Getmon ding is a tad loud. Oh, sorry. Let me see if I can turn that down. That's unfortunate. Okay, it turns out you can't. So I've just disabled it for now. Whew. There are 5 moonstones in this game. Okay. Just make it I may come. I'll probably re-enable it for next stream. I'll just manually turn the sound file down. There are 5. Thank you for looking that up, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then we are fine, and we don't gotta worry about it. I think we're set, but just to be sure. Oh, that sounded bad. Alright, I'm gonna turn my AC on. Let me know if this bleeds through. So far, so good. It'll probably come through when I'm speaking, but... Alright, so we're gonna face Kevin's team. If I remember right, is it a Sparrow and a starter? A Pidgey and a starter. Okay. I forgot his team was that strong already. It's audible and speaking. Okay. That sounds about right. I thought we'd be better for this. What can I do? This is embarrassing. Yeah, just I need to just cheat. That's probably the actual thing here, huh? I'll send out Mew. Oh, that's bad. And it's got sand attack. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? If I aim my mic over here, is it still audible? When I talk? Oh, it probably is. Oh my gosh. Oh, this Rattata spring. I just wanted to get some quick XP. I didn't think it would go this bad. It's more audible. I turned the mic away. Huh. Well. I'll have to fiddle with that sometime. Did Gen 1 have IVs? What do they call them? DVs? Is that what they were called by people in Gen 1 too? Good point. Oh. I can't look at him die. There it is. Yep. Alright, this Pidgey's pulling its weight. And we're up against a Charmander with like Inver. Gen 1 had IVs but not capped, so every stat could have max IVs? Oh my god, why? Also, an ad is starting in 23 seconds apparently, by the way. Did it just ask if I wanted to change Pokemon? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, Gus being normal helped us out there. That's a good point. I think I just use Leech Seed again. Either way. Yep, okay, don't worry. That you didn't see that. It's a good thing Joey sub. Oh, it's a critical hit. We might squeak through this. I do still have a potion. And I got a hit point off a Charmander. Why was this Pidgey higher level than this Charmander? Much to think about, to quote Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh, Bulbasaur. Did that Pidgey get a sand attack on me? I wasn't even looking. I probably should have been looking. Ooh. I guess it doesn't have Ember yet. That or it's just being nice and not using it. Every attack can miss. Hi, Goldstorm, by the way. Oh. Fuck you, Kevin. I win. I think I did just luck out. Tackle doesn't have 100% accuracy till Gen 5? Game Freak, what were you doing? Now here's the question. I gotta go through the grass. Well, you're good. Machop's Gen 1 sprite. There are a lot of sprites in this game. Not saying anything new here, that were so mismatched with any other available resource for those Pokemon. They looked weird compared to the anime, they looked weird compared to the artwork and strategy guides. The licensed stuff you'd see at the stores. Such a weird thing. Thank God they unified some of it. For better or worse. Those Pokeballs that you're a waste. You have Pokemon. It's great that you can carry and use Pokemon anytime, anywhere. And this poor man's just stuck. He is pogging hard. What am I doing with my life? I deposited the... Oh, wait. No. We're right. Justin Mon, I did win. I barely squeaked through with 11 hit points. Thank goodness. Don't worry about that. I need to reassess here. Okay. So I still need... That's the issue. I was looking over at the overlay. Is it already breaking on me? Hold on. Sparrow. We're good. Alright. I am just not used to old school PC stylings anymore. We're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't ask questions. Ta-da. Okay. Everything we have is... We're fine. I thought I deposited my level 4 Nidoran and got confused. I need to be taught how to catch Pokemon. Oh, we're good. Okay. Oh, I didn't want to... Hi, Wizard and Crimson 90. What's up? Do I have to go to a team, or do I tend to vary my league run? I have... That's a good wiggle spray. I have done this so infrequently that, honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I think we'll find out. Don't talk to me about the Teach You TV, please. Oh, Teach You TV. I never got the map. I don't need it, but I never got the map. I also forgot that, money is a bit of an issue in Gen 1. We'll be able to circumvent it later with the glitch, but this is going to continue to be a thing. There you go. I usually stick with my starter all the way through. I will usually wind up with a Kadabra or Alakazam, just because, my god, how do you not in this game? I usually fall into using a Gyarados. A Pidgeot. And something else, and I usually wind up with one of the legendary birds. So pretty boring, actually, now that I'm trying to remember. I don't think I have a recently completed save on my Virtual Console files, or else I could be like, I can go check at the end of the stream. But I think I pushed them all out, and I just killed that Caterpie. Man. Gen 2 is the only one you routinely dump the starter. I can never be that person, but I can't blame those who do. Goldstorm. I've never ran through with the Farfetch'd, and I do really like Farfetch'd, but I am also like, those are other Pokemon who need the experience I'm going to get too. If we really decide to lean in to just taking advantage of glitches, that's fine, we can make that work. I guess we'll have the rare candy thing eventually anyway, right? Because, like, I'm doing this legitimately enough for a modern day, but if it does mean we get to run through with a Farfetch'd, maybe I'll consider that. I switched Nidoran up front to try to get one of these Caterpie. They have not come back. I've never used the Mr. Mime either. Like, I do the trade to get a Mr. Mime, right? I've never used like a Diglett, or, you know, subsequently a Dugtrio. Like a Magmar, Electabuzz. Like there's so many Gen 1 Pokemon I never use in Gen 1. Ponyta, Rapidash, Tauros, Chansey. Like by that point, I'm just kind of collecting them, you know? East coast of Cinnabar to get Safari Zone encounters easily. Alright. Forgot that was the thing, not gonna lie. This one. I wonder if one of them will be shiny. That'd be cool. I've never actually had that happen. That would be a fun thing. I did that wrong. If I used the Chansey, Snorlax, and Tauros on the same team, definitely not. I think when I was a kid, I tried to make a Snorlax work, but I was dumb, right? Oh, I missed it. Yeah, Geodude, Graveler. The more I talk, the more I think I always just fall into using the same Pokemon, and I just don't entirely remember them because it's been so long. Tauros is broken. Use Rattata. Pardon me. The Scyther is poopy. Yeah, I had that with not so much the moveset being poopy. I had that with Blitzel in Unova. I was so excited for that Pokemon. Like an electric zebra that looked adorable and it turned into Blitzel. I thought Blitzel looked cool. I don't know if I just got a bad one or if it was the stats or what, but I just couldn't use it. Like I just keep throwing it out and it'd keep getting obliterated and I couldn't train it and I was like, I can't keep going on with this. I can't. So I had to box him. Which is a shame. I want to try and make it work again sometime. If nothing else, I've got a Blitzel and Go. And I can maybe make that work, because Go has weird Pokemon that are good that you wouldn't think would be good, so maybe that's a thing. Like Galarian Stunfisk is like one of the best meta Pokemon in Go. So, follow your dreams, I guess. Poliwrath. I've never used the Poliwrath. Yeah, exactly. It's so many things like that where I'm like, you know, I never use that. Wild Pokemon Gen 1 will never have the necessary stats to become shiny. Oh, well, there you go. Scyther is good at cut. Nobutron had a question. Hi, Nobutron. Nobu? Noba? It's been a while. I forget how to say Nobutron. Nope. Favorite and least favorite new evolution of an old Genmon? We're talking like the Sneaslers and Sirfetch'ds of the world, right? I really didn't like Sneasler when I first saw it. I've really grown on Sneasler over time. I think I need to look at them all and just actually assess it. I want to say Sirfetch'd is my favorite. I'm quite a fan of Sirfetch'd. And then like Weavile counts, right? And like that's pretty cool. I was thinking new gen and regional versions. Least favorite is Rhyperior. That's actually easy. I've warmed up to Rhyperior a little over the years, but I just can't hang with him. I can't. He's even useful for me in Go, but it doesn't work. Most favorite though, that's so tough. There's so many good ones. I'm gonna go Sirfetch'd right now. I'll maybe reevaluate that at some point. Hi Kevin, you're the rival in this game. I don't need another Pidgey. I think we're good. I need one more Caterpie. That's what's going on here. I have some Hydrates to redeem. My chat wasn't scrolling. Hi. Probopass. Remember Probopass? That one. Thank you. Let's go chocolate. Electivire I also don't have much positive feeling for. I've warmed up to Magmortar over the years. Basically, a lot of the Gen 4 ones they introduced were ones I didn't like at first. Over the years, I've warmed on a lot of them. Electivire, I can see. I can also see not really liking that one as much over time. Probopass is Wario's head. Oh man, Sinnoh. How do you... I've seen it in text. I think like the Sun and Moon book had Sinnohian. Sinnohian? Is that Sinnohian? I feel like all the other ones are all off the tongue, right? Like you've got Contonian, Jotonian, Hoennian? But Sinnohian? You should just call them Ohioan. Alolan works great. Pokemon really does acknowledge Jinx, not as much, and I can't blame them. But also, man. I can throw Caterpie out to this, actually. Gen 9 did have some good new ones. Oh, did I just get double gusted? Okay, maybe I can't throw Caterpie out against this. This is getting bad. This is just wasting people's time at this point. I'm just throwing out Bulbasaur. That's my thing with Pokemon, though. Like, obviously, I'm still into it, but their new designs, yeah. Gen 8, I would say, is probably stronger than Gen 9, but they're still making a lot of new Pokemon I think are really cool, right? Like, I'm still seeing new dudes I'm really into. Like, I caught that shiny Quillfish Hisuian last night and turned it into Overquill. Overquill is sick. I think that's an awesome Pokemon. Like, I love that dude just as much as some of my favorites, right? So they're still making ones I still really like. So, like, I feel like even if I ever got out of Pokemon, I'd still check in on the new ones just because they keep making really cool ones. But obviously, I'm still stuck. I will be trading with myself for the trade evolutions. Yeah, I'll be probably off stream setting up new files, just emulator speeding through them, and probably doing the trades on stream somehow. I haven't really thought about how to set that up, but something to show that on stream. Okay, what am I doing? I wanted a third Caterpie. That way I could keep a Caterpie. Oh, spawns in Viridian Forest. I think that's all we'll need. Granted, we can always come back later. Sinnohinis. Everyone likes the little pink hammer gremlin. Exactly. It's one of J-Tart9's favorites. Tinkatuff? I forget which one is the last one. Okay. They take Arceus' tweaks to combat rigor gameplay and add into a normal game. Yeah. When I visualize it, it's like when people break cards together, right? Like Legends Arceus, normal Pokemon, and then into one deck of cards. That's the metaphor I chose for some reason. That'd be quite good. Because as much as I love Arceus, I do kind of miss some of the main series stuff. Don't tell Justin, but what can you do? Did I wipe out all the Caterpie out here? Are they just gone? Akon is in the news for NFT crypto fraud with Soulja Boy and Lindsay Lohan. Well, there's the company to keep, huh? I think he had a coin. I think that was his, right? I'm just gonna go into the forest. Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna go into the forest. I do remember reading about a coin. I'm not surprised that he's in the news for that. Why can't I run? Just let me run. Someone's gonna come in chat and of course remind me, well, if the speed stat's high enough, you can't run. It's something like that. Oh, fuck you, Rattata. I'll kill you. Oh yeah, Palavin is Elemental Hero Aqua Neos. Because of course. Shinies didn't exist in Gen 1. It wasn't until Gold Silver Crystal where they popped in. They have a 1 in 8,192 chance of popping up. So that will be a thing. God, all my dudes are weak. Oh, this is awful. You give me something? I'm thinking of the girl who gives you the sweet scent TM after Azalea Forest. You give me something. No, you don't. This tree gives me something. Okay. I was worried I'd start to look crazier than I already do. It's workable music. Okay, I can actually kind of see it though. I'm not going to do it. Did Windows set your mic input to the headset? I'd hope not. That'd be awkward. 10 Elements was saying something akin to this a bit ago, so let me just check. My microphone is still voice mod. Let me check voice mod. The chain through on some of these things. Input is the AT2020. This is the correct one. It's doing the tapping again. Honestly, this might be something where I just need to unplug my mic and replug it back in off stream. This sounds like a baby beat. I never listened to the baby. It almost sounds like the mic on my headset is tapping itself. Well, I guess that's a quick way to find out, huh? Just remove the mic. I wish. I hear it now. Huh. So, like, how much do you think this would break it if I just unplug this microphone right now and plug it back in? Like, would that, It's a new prediction live. If you want to put some channel points into that. Moment of truth. Farewell. No cursing? Heck you. I'm not going to remember that. Okay. Mike's good. How do I follow up on the prediction? I need to be on my channel page because it's Twitch. Right? Nope. I like messing around with this stuff. I always forget that it grinds everything to a halt. Here we go. The nose had it. Apparently. There you go. Congratulations, everybody who voted no. The true believers win. Okay. Let me know if it happens again, though. Mike, there we go. Woo! You'll need those points for something. I don't know what, but you'll need them. Believer. I need a water. Is Pikachu in this forest in this game? Joe, you gambled. Justin won. Gambled. That's what you get for gambling. 5%. What he is in here? That's a rough one. That's a real rough one. I know you can get like a level 9 Pidgeotto in yellow. Maybe you can do that here? I'm having like the luckiest encounter lack of streaks here, right? I got no encounters in this forest. What's going on? Hello? I'm starting to think, okay, I was about to say, I'm starting to think getting an encounter is 5%. Goodness gracious. One time I actually want one, I'm not getting it. Yeah. God, this is a pathetic Rattata. Pokemon had the innovative Undertale system years before. I think this catches, right? It's a Caterpie. I don't want to waste Pokeballs at this stage, but... Alright. There's our Living Dex Caterpie. That's the one that's going to stay a Caterpie. But nobody came. Alright, I need to actually look here. I got the Bulbasaur is my dude. I'm going to run with Spearow for a while, at least till we can get a Farfetch'd. Barring nonsense, that's all I need, but I need to make sure Bulbasaur gets a grass type move, which I think he will very soon. I'm looking at something like Pikachu, and it's like, I could hunt it here, and it like wouldn't be... an awful idea. You would show up here, wouldn't you? Oh, you ever look at a sprite in this game and realize it's not what you thought it was? For some reason, I always thought it was like doing this, but I now realize it's doing this. Like it always looked like a weird nose, and it was like judging you from the side. But I realized it's more docile and tsundere. Is that the word? That makes so much more sense. This is the first time in like 2 decades I've looked at that sprite and finally realized what the hell it's supposed to be doing. Makes me like it more. It just seemed like a dick the old way I was looking at it. You do need to manually change boxes. That's a great point. If you have 20 Pokemon in a box and try to catch another, it will just tell you you cannot. Which, hey. Pretty great. Experience 26, right. So we'll just need to stay cognizant of that, especially probably like 3 or 4 hours into this playthrough. Once we start getting more money in, there's more Pokemon to catch all the time. I just had a realization. Oh no. Okay, we will be starting a gold or silver save file. I guess we don't have to. I just remembered Porygon. I just remembered Porygon and everything that will entail in Generation 1. And then I was like, well, if I want a Porygon 2 and Porygon Z that say they're from Kanto, because that is a thing you can do, I'll need 3 Porygons. So I'm like, do I want to glitch items and sell them for money to dump into the game corner, or do I want to send them 3 years into the future and breed them and send them back? Can Porygon even breed? These are all great questions. I really thought Bulbasaur got a grass move at level 11. Whoa! They're not version exclusive, or why did I think they were? Oh, Frankenmutt. It's not even a card flip game back here. It's just straight up slots in Gen 1. Porygon can breed. That's messed up, but I'll take it. Alright. Got a 7-pound worm. That's kind of cool. I've never thought of Weedle as a hairy bug, though. Okay, you do remember the game corner. That's good. I think I could be grinding somewhere more efficient than this, but this is kind of where I'm staked out, huh? Okay. I'll take that. And then gotcha happen. Yeah, I don't miss gambling in Pokemon. It is one of those things I'm like kind of nostalgic for, but I don't actually miss, you know what I mean? Like if they brought it back, I'd probably actually be more upset because I'm sure they'd tie something annoying to it. Oh! Hey! Golden Sun has a gambling system. What? I guess that makes sense. I don't know what Pikachu's catch rate is like in Gen 1. Okay. Question. Do we save state, or do we let fate play out? Its catch rate is normal for the area. That sounds assuring. That sounds like we could do it. Fate? I see a fate. Pray, might as well save state. You said you wanted gambling back. Did I say that? Did I? Fate stay night. I'm seeing 2 save states, mostly fate. Alright. No, I think we've already decided. Pikachu, I like you because you're bigger here. That's my compliment. Will it work?
Don't worry, Spyro. I won't be needing any more of your money.
Yo, Mykonos. How's it going? This is Joey. Got a minute? Oh yeah, I took down an Alakazam in the wild the other day. It was a cakewalk. Well, I guess it can't be helped, us being so tough.
Thanks for the update, Trainer Joey. We got a mouse. The electricity could build and cause lightning storms. You forgot to click, but it's okay. I hung up on you for you. Don't worry. Thank you, Joey. I need to heal. Frankenmutt, I could go to Fire Red, but I want it from Kanto. I want it from Game Boy Kanto. So can't quite. And even then, I would need another Pikachu for the Living Dex for what we're going to count for that. But you know what? Just because Pikachu is easier for me to remember and keep track of, boom. That's the one we're going to keep at Pikachu. Until further notice. Remember when a guy sued Pokemon over Alakazam? I do. I think within the last year, maybe even half year, quarter year, he gave up that lawsuit. Which is neat, I guess, right? Yeah, I'm caught now between I need to raise some of these and Pikachu's actually useful. We can always come back and grind some of these guys out later, right? That's kind of what we need to keep in mind here. We don't have to sit and do this all at once, you know? Alright, we are halfway through box 1 already. I think it's Gen 2 where it tells you how full each box is. Maybe even a yellow thing, but probably Gen 2, so that's kind of what I was counting on there. I have 18. Do you have Thundershock? You do have Thundershock. Thank you for being useful. Okay. I can't breed them in Gen 1. If it gets to a point where I feel like I need to breed Pikachu, you will probably see a much sadder me. But it is a thing. Hi, Wizzle. Great question. I, on paper, want a Form Dex. That's harder to accomplish looking at Gen 1. So the out I'm giving myself, I want a Living Dex from Gen 1 Game Boy. Forms I'm letting come from any game they're available in. Like, it's a bit complicated. I am massaging the Master Dex challenge from Birdkeeper Toby. I'm massaging that to be less bad. But the stipulation of his challenge, well, not less bad. Less bad for someone with no time is how that should go. I like the challenge. It's just a lot. But his thing is basically the core Living Dex comes from the original game. Forms can come from any game that Pokemon's available in. So like a female Venusaur or male Venusaur, whichever gender difference you don't have, that can come from like Let's Go. But I want at least the core 151 to be from Game Boy. That's the crazy stipulation I'm running with on this one. It's a complicated thing that doesn't really make sense, but it's what I want. So now this poor Pikachu's already eaten it. Right, yes, it was Cadaver. He's back in the TCG, possibly now, I guess, for now on, right? Weird. Mew is the one where we're going to have to get it illegitimately, but we're going to have to get it illegitimately in a way that lets it read as legitimate. So there is a glitch I will look into doing at some point. Probably not on this save file, but... And we can't leave here without getting a shiny, exactly. The thing I'm really dreading more than anything, though, like, I don't know when I'll get to Gen 2 in sincerity, like to actually play through it, right? On stream, but the roaming legendaries just... Ugh. I hate roaming legendaries, so the idea of the dogs or the cats from Gen 2, wherever you fall in that debate, If you go with Crystal, you don't have to do it with Suicune, but you still gotta find the other two then. You can't... you can't give them items to hold in Gen 1. And I don't think you... Right, yeah, no, you just can't give them items. Yeah, so no, you can't do that. Either way, I don't want a bunch of Master Balls on the thing, because then it's very obvious that I glitched. I want to massage what we're doing here, but not fully... Come on. Not fully wipe all the challenge away. They're just beasts. That's where I get stuck, because they always were called legendary dogs, but they all kind of look like they're based on felines. You know what I mean? I don't know. Flying Slowpoke Mew glitch one. I think it's that. There's like, what do they call it? It's like the 8F Mew glitch, I think, is like the specific one that Bank and Holm will allow through. Form Dex minus genders, unless the form changes drastically. You're on Gen 8. Have you worked from Gen 1 to Gen 8, or are you just doing Gen 8? Because, dang. Either way. Gen 8 is the one I've basically done. I don't have like an Appleton and some of the Shield exclusives with my OT, but I've done all the Alchemies and Gigantamaximals and all that stuff, and it took forever. So good luck with that. I forget how many hours in Sword I have, but so much of it is just alchemy, grinding, and Crampomatic, and running through a couple Sword playthroughs to get Cubfoos and Urshifus, and blah, 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 blah. So much podcast fodder. I don't know if they can tell the ball this far back, honestly, but just to be safe. Here's a bird. This makes more sense to grind with Pikachu. We're not doing the Spindas. We'll get a Spinda at some point, but whew. On the cat side, is this where the inspirations come from, but Legendary Beast? Yeah, I can go with that. At a point, I don't think Pokemon has ever given a name for them, so at a point, I'm like, eh, whatever. Okay. Pikachu is almost level 6, right? 1 or 2 more fights. I'm trying not to lose myself in details thinking too far down the road. Gen 3, I gotta find my Game Boy player disc for my GameCube at a point. Because I don't have a way to... Unless I get the Game Boy operator I mentioned earlier, I don't have a way to get my saves off the cartridge, inject them to PC, and then inject them back into the cartridge. So at that point, I just gotta authentically play on the cartridge, I think. We'll see though, that's way down the road. Unless they put an end date on bank stuff, that's way down the road, thankfully. Does Jack have Pokemon Box? Man, that sounds right. If there's anyone I know who would have Pokemon Box, it would probably be Jack. That's like a holy grail one I want. I can never justify it to myself, but it's such a dumb thing that I do really want it. Alright, cool. We got Pikachu up to level 6. That feels okay. We got Sparrow in here. Bulbasaur. I think I can safely start going through the forest then. Two steps. Oh, the My Pokemon Ranch Pokemon. Yeah, there's so many things you gotta think about if you really want to get crazy with all this stuff. Like the challenge I cited earlier, for everyone's reference, from Birdkeeper Toby. One of the stipulations, like gift kind of Pokemon in game can take the Dex spot of Pokemon. So for example, you wouldn't have Tentacool from Red and Blue. You'd have Tentacool from Heart Gold Soul Silver, because they give you one in Cyanwood City, the fighting gym town, if you get rid of all your other Pokemon. That way you can't soft lock yourself over on that island. They give you like a tentacle with surf, like some NPC does. If you go with his challenge, you need that tentacle, which means playing Harkle and Soul Silver and trading off like all your Pokemon and then deleting the ones you trade in, right? And like, there's a part of me that thinks that's funny and I want it, but that is so much time. So I am not even thinking about it until I am like on the other end of a lot of this stuff, and I'm like, all right, what can I put my time into now? But for now, not actually thinking about it. I'm gonna get money. It's been like a while since we fought a trainer, huh? Shiny Haxorus. A shiny Haxorus would be pretty cool. So Frankenmutt. You get a free box of Pokemon Home. I forget if you can transfer them from 3DS Bank to the mobile app of Home. You can definitely download the Switch app and do it. If you have 30 or less Pokemon that you want to do that with, you could do that, but it sounds like you're not as into the recent Pokemon games, so I don't know if that'd be worth it for you anyway. The Platinum update for My Pokemon Ranch. Yeah. I was watching a stream from someone, Absol Blogs Pokemon. He was talking about looking into localizing that Platinum thing. He recently did something with Pokemon Box on GameCube to make it accept other region cartridges of the GBA games, which is really cool. So I trust that if he's looking into that, he's going to actually try to make that work, which would be really cool. So there might be a way to get an English My Pokemon Ranch. Like he was talking about trying to translate and everything, so I wish him luck with that. That would be really, really nice. I don't know that much about the Platinum update itself. I just know I had him on as background noise and he was talking about doing that. Or trying to start doing that like last weekend, so. God bless him. Pokemon Ranger. That is Circle Simulator, I think. Never played it. So if I remember correctly, Spearow evolves at level 20 into Pharaoh? So I'd say we're pretty okay on the way with Spearow. Level 20. Alright, cool, cool, cool. Thank you. So, I had $70? That was nothing. Ugh. Got an antidote. I guess I didn't need to do that. I don't know why I thought there was something up there. No? My memory is failing me. I'm going to be right back though. I'll be back in like a minute. And we will get out of this gosh dang forest. 1 second. Pokemon Center would be a good idea. Or some music that's themed. Half a year in Ultra Sun and Moon because Rockruff in the Lycanroc forms to be shiny. Shiny Minior. Whew. Now that's hardcore. Half a year. I did 40 hours for a 3-segment shiny to Dunsparce, so I get it. Sometimes you just have to do these things. I got a potion. Can I get through without using it is probably... I'd love Spirit to keep getting the XP is the thing. We'll see what happens. These are the only 2 games where they gave Kakuna actual little claw things, right? That sent me down. I have a story that tangentially relates. I think so, basically, yes. It was these games, and there is some very old, like, Sugimori art of Kakuna with the claws, which is what the sprite would have been going in tandem with, right? I had a lot of those old cards that the art wound up on in my car. They were like cards from Japan with like a lot of the OG art, and they have like a lot of weird things on some of them. So I just had those in my car. My friend Bobby gave those to me years ago. And I just, with the way my brain works, if something's out of my mind, I will just forget about it. So I had to, and when I get home, I just want to get out of my car and just go inside. So I just never remembered to put these cards into my home, basically. I was driving around a local town. If you don't know, I live in West Virginia. I was going around with my buddy Alex late at night. And we got pulled over by the cops. Basically just for existing, I guess. They wanted to search my car. I guess we both looked like drug users, which is probably fair. I don't know if they were allowed to search my car, but they did. And they were going through it and going through the trunk and everything while we were just standing there out in the cold at like 2 in the morning. We just like to drive around and talk and just catch up. But eventually one of the cops comes back and he's like, "You boys speak Japanese?" I was just like, "What? No? What?" And he's like, "I found these Pokemon cards back here in Japanese. I was just wondering." I had those damn cards in my trunk and they were just looking at them at 2 a.m. in some backwater West Virginia town looking for drugs. They're just like, "No, sir. No. Those are just card-ass Pokemon cards. Don't worry." I think at that point they realized we would not be drug users and let us go. But I always associate the old Sugimori art of those specifically with that interaction because it just made no sense at all. But when I think of Kakuna claws, that's what I think of now. Team Rocket's at Mount Moon. Oh. Spearow, Pikachu, Nidoran, Caterpie. I don't even need to keep this Caterpie with me, honestly. Does everyone in West Virginia talk like Honey Boo Boo's family? I don't remember what Honey Boo Boo talks like. I don't think it was that bad, but bad enough that I tend to train my accent to not let it come out as much. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, we're good. You speak Japanese? Okay, we roughly have a team. We have $375. We are doing so badly. I need to move him. Alright, I remember one of the trainers has like a Sandshrew or something, right? So we can grind Bulbasaur out on that a little bit, maybe. Of course I checked out the museum, you kidding me? The Mothman Museum? I just want to be led over by the nose. They talk like Boo Boo from Yogi Bear? I wish, that'd be a lot more entertaining. I think I do have the right stuff. And then he vanishes. As a kid, I always wanted to catch up to that guy for some reason. Never could. He's the source of the out of bounds glitch. Well, there you go. I always like talking to the guy at the gym. I don't know why. That's just something I like. Okay, we can do this. We can at least take this guy down. Thank you for the redeem. Crazy even. I am a thirsty little boy. Okay, there is a Diglett. My memory isn't that bad. Oh, come on. Alright, we're lead seating. Catch this one. I wish. Unfortunately, I don't have the snagging device, or else I would. Man, I'm only sapping 1 hit point off of anything I'm with, huh? Diglett has a... oh, never mind. I was going to say Diglett has a high speed, so I might need to worry about a crit. But nope. I guess we're fine. Wait. Oh, okay, that's okay, I guess. Sparrow can beat Sandshrew. Nothing to worry about. That didn't do a lot of damage. I forgot about Gen 1 doing that. That's kind of harsh. Oh, come on. Alright, we're gonna use a potion. I had a similar experience with Team Rocket. I tried to catch something of theirs. I think my justification as a kid was like, oh, it's like I'm rescuing them. And it's a more justification of like, well, they're breaking the rules. Why can't I break the rules? I can't break the rules. Jesus. These things just destroying me. Why is Sandshrew so good? Bellsprout does. Ekans definitely does. Bellsprout might? Right? Is that crazy? Oh, come on. This thing's demonic. At least Leech Seed might get us through. Onyx does. Yes, there you go. Oh. Hi, Franken Mutt. I have a real answer. Gosh dang it. Grass move. I didn't get a grass move? Onyx gets bind, not wrap. Oh, well, there you go. That's the only trainer here, right? Yep. We gotta grind. I need a grass move. Oh, yeah, it was probably Uberduck. Especially if I'm not in an LP, I'm usually not very aware of what's going on in an LP. Alright, best spot for me to grind is probably right below the town, right? I can't really get out of here. Dr. Pepper. Oh, so... we're gonna need so many experience points. Well, for one... okay, 1 level to Vine Whip, I was about to say, let me actually look up when we're gonna get this move. 52? Oh, we're fine. Here, let me do this. I'm gonna do something controversial. Maybe. Speed up isn't spacebar on this. Oops. My controller disconnected. Why would you disconnect? That's rude. There we go. Don't tell anyone I'm doing this. Hey, we learned Vine Whip. That's weird. Just for the sake of us existing sooner. Okay. I don't want to rely on that often, but especially early game, where you don't have a lot of options for anything to do ever. You know? Yeah, I just got really good at the game for a bit there. Sorry, I'll restrain how good I am for a bit. Trio Tower in Stadium 2. Honestly, I just didn't trust that the emulation would be good enough for it, and also there is a speed button here, but it would be fun. That said, I'd have to download like a complete Stadium save or something, right? I really looked into it. Also, just better image quality if you do it this way. But it does sound like something I would be interested in. Let's kill Brock. I can't wait for his Onyx to still defeat my Bulbasaur somehow. Yeah, Geodude, right? Look at that thing. My Onyx looking alright. Yeah, that looks pretty reasonable, right? That looks like Onyx. That looks pretty good. All things considered. Alright, we can... Alright, never mind. There you go. I remember having to have my dad beat Brock for me as a kid, but I think I had Charmander, so he just... It was one of the few things my dad did for me that was nice. He just took my Game Boy away for a while. It was like, yo, I'll do it. And he came back and he'd beaten Brock. I don't know what the fuck he did, but I was thankful. And then he left. Quite a while after that. Alright, so we got Bite. Hey, I need to hit the thing. This one isn't auto-tracked. This is one I need to do. Look at that. This way someone coming in can see how many badges we have. Do the badges actually increase your stat? That's a great question. Hey Double, bye-bye. Thank you for being here. They do increase some stats. They're very bugged. Great, of course they are. I had to make sure I checked in with him. Increase a given stat by 12.5%. I had no idea. I just thought that was nonsense. And it's negated the multiplayer battles. That makes more sense. So like, what do I have? I have grass, electric, poison? Eventually. And peck. So I guess I'll lead with Pikachu. I have some money after that. What I hate about using the speed up function though, it messes with the in-game time. I do like having it accurate. So I guess we'll just have to count the amount of stream hours at a point, right? Escape rope. I guess I don't need to buy that until later, but I do want one. 2 potions. I'd like 3, but I want more Pokeballs, so I guess this is what I'm doing. Alright. We're poor. Basically, give the stat boost every... Let me scroll up. Basically, you give a stat boost every single time your stats are modified in battle. Yeah, no bug gym until Gen 2. The badge effect is reapplied every time. Huh. I did not know that. This sounds kind of crazy. I do have some running shoes though. Alright, so does she have a Clefairy? I'm just testing my memory here. Nidoran, Pidgey. Nope, I'm stupid. It's fine, don't worry about it. I do have a guide. Like a physical actual guide. I don't know if I should be referring to it, but I do have one somewhere. This is a chonker of a Pikachu. I don't want to keep it for the whole game, but I'm glad we're able to respect Chonk Pikachu for a while. It's not super invisible to Blaine, who gives a special boosting. I'm not sure if Nintendo Power had one. Mine is the Prima strategy guide for sure. And then my Gold and Silver was like Versus books? That sounds right, right? Pikachu doesn't learn Thunderbolt, only by TM. Ha! This is in the Pokemon Center. Ruby Sapphire? Yeah. Ruby Sapphire is one I really would have wanted the guide for some of the Reggie stuff and hidden base stuff. Never had it. Someone at school had it, and it was like I was reading a Forbidden Tome every time they brought it in. Like I just did never have enough time to glean enough info from those pages for my mental banks. Anytime they brought it in, it was like a holy event. Raichu's in this game. We're not playing yellow, so we can evolve it. Thankfully. That was one of the reasons why I didn't present yellow as an option, because I was like, I'm just going to have to play another one to evolve the Pikachu anyway. And I guess you could always just... Well, that and you can't even catch a second Pikachu in yellow, right? Maybe you can. I said that out loud, it doesn't feel right. Shit, I don't even remember. Level 10 Caterpie, what are you doing? Just do it. There are technically 4 versions of Gen 1. Yes. That's an interesting question. Because, like, you have Japan Red Blue, Red Green. You have Japan Blue. Japan Blue became our Red Blue. Then there's Yellow, and we got Yellow. It's like, depending on how you want to divvy that up, but color-wise, there are 4 Gen 1s. And then you look into the Giga League stuff, and it was like, oh, there was going to be a Pokemon Pink. They were even looking at maybe a Pokemon Brown? Weird to think what could have been with all that. You had Blastoise, Clefable, Aerodactyl, Alakazam, and Mew. Oh, there you go. Not bad. I'm just brute forcing this Pikachu on these things to level up. Game Freak has always been this way, no doubt. If anything, they've gotten better about it over time. The Sword and Shield are very lenient on the version differences, and especially if you get the DLC, you can just find other version Pokemon in the wild more often than not. And of course, there's like Wi-Fi trading this anyway now for stuff. Then there's Legends Arceus, and you can just get everything within that one game, and it's awesome. It's just what they should do, in my opinion. I think version differences are kind of cute, but Legends Arceus really opened my eyes to like, oh, this could just be one game though. Like, it would be nice. But they're never going to do that. I'm amazed they even did it with that. But main series, full-on, new version? Level 9. We're getting some progress now. We're moving along. You could always find the other versions of Mom, but it was a 1% encounter. I didn't even know that. Huh. I had no idea. Weird. What is my living yokai collection? Oh my god. I've never even thought of that. That has to be a thing, right? Someone out there has to have a yokai Living Dex. Huh. The Coliseum and XD are weird. Those are just weird games. Just everything about them. I had Coliseum growing up. I didn't have XD. And I got a really scratched up disc from my friend Brody. And he gave me the Drachi disc with it. And I've never actually went to look and see if those work. Now that I'm thinking about it. I always just kind of assumed they wouldn't looking at those things. Like, I have them in a plastic bag over here. Like, he didn't even give me a case for them. So I just assumed those were not going to work. Abdallah Smash is a yokai tuber. There you go. Oh, the Shadow Lugia GameCube. That's a good one. I really liked Coliseum growing up. I really did. Oh, you monster. I watched Justin stream it a few months back, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I'd like this as much if I went back and played it myself. It is a very slow game. That is something about it that I'm like, I don't know if I could play through Coliseum. I might, just to see though. Test it live on the Corruptcast. Yeah, there you go. I want to try and get some XP on these other guys, but this Rattata is just kicking me in. There we go. Whew. Is there emulator speed up on GameCube games yet? Like, can I speed up Dolphin the way I can Visual Boy Advance? Is that even a thing? I guess that's the actual question, because if you can just emulator speed that up, then maybe you're talking at that point. Oh, we're part poison sword resistant. Okay, right. I was thinking we'd just do more than that, but we didn't. Alright, we're setting up. On actual GameCube games, you don't get that much speed, like 2x at most. Not amazing, but that's better than nothing with those games, honestly. 5x in my dreams. That's part of the fun with going back to Gen 1, though. It's just looking at all these sprites and going, oh my god, this was actually just what they went with. And these are the better sprites. This is based on Blue version, which had some revised sprites from original Red-Green. Like, some of them are the same, but you should go look at the Red-Green sprites sheet sometime if you think these are great. Because some of those, oh my god. By Yellow, it started getting better, but man, it was rough. Okay, we are running back to the Pokemon Center with our tails between our legs here. It's very quaint. The series has made a lot of things better over time. These are outdated games, but I find it like hard to sympathize with people who are like, it's unplayable or so buggy that you can't play it. Because I just don't think they are that bad. Like, they've gotten much better, but I don't think that invalidates the original games. So when I see people just like, you know, toss them aside basically conversationally and be like, oh, you can't even play that. I'm like, can you not? Like, they're rough, they're not bad. I don't know, maybe I'm forgiving. The Machop line looks insane. Not in a good way. Please throw 4 Weedle at me. Okay. Oh, right, yes, I was pulling out the official Pokemon Coliseum guide for Jade Heart 9. Yes. Charmander's arms can be up or down. Alright, we destroyed that. Kakuna has Poison Sting, so I feel like actually maybe I should just be working on this. I have like a urge to check that XD Gale of Darkness disc I mentioned. Okay. Hold on. We're getting there. Whew. Lost track of them for a bit. I should find GameCube games I don't care about and put these in there. But at a point also, oh my god. Where's the Coliseum bonus disc? I don't think I can adequately capture how bad these look. You know, that looks great on there, but oh my god. This card's cool though. Look at that. Shadow the Hedgehog colors. Look at that. But oh my god, there is no way these work. We'll test that out sometime, maybe. Just get it resurfaced. I don't even know where you would nowadays. It's gotta be someone, right? It's also fun to see the useless stuff I've kept, because I guess I'm just a hoarder. Heart Gold, Soul Silver pre-order figure boxes? What am I doing with my life? They were pretty cool though. Look at that guy. Hello? You kidding me? What more do you want? There's a time that pre-ordering Pokemon games was like a cool thing you could do. A lot of used game stores. I could probably find one in Columbus doing that, actually, now that you mention it. Scratching Sonic Riders, yeah. Heart Gold Soul Silver is the first time I went crazy and pre-ordered both versions, just because that was like a huge momentous thing I really wanted. Like that was like the video game I wanted ever, like my dream game. So I went nuts on that and got both. Pretty okay with doing that because the packaging on them was awesome. Those boxes are great. Got 2 Pokewalkers. And then life went downhill after that. Oh my god, please just die. I want Nidoran to get all this experience, but I really hate this. We do not have CEX, but yeah, I'm sure there's stores over here that do it. I've just never actually thought to look. Especially in the Blu-ray era when discs just kind of work and I have to take care of things now. We made it. I don't know if poison is like an overtly useful type in this game. Like, I don't know if getting poison sting on this Nidoran is really going to turn this early game around, you know what I mean? But I sure am here trying it. Black Ops 3 mini fridge. Yo, that's a gamer fridge. The last one I got that I was like kind of into was probably the Yakuza 6 one. You got like 2 little glasses and freezer ice cube dice kind of things. It's kind of silly, but it's like stuff I'd actually use, right? So I'm like, sure. And like a gamer fridge, that sounds like something you'd use, right? That's kind of cool. You have the Esoft Summer 2003 demo disc with the Sonic Team GBA downloads, meaning you can get the Amy and Knuckles Chow, using the Japanese SA2 or Gecko codes to disable Region 1. That is cool. That is something Kid Me would have killed for, especially. I really wanted the character Chow. Oh, it's doing the same thing again, isn't it? Poison isn't good against much, and in this game, Psychics make that even harder. That checks out. I think for me, it was coming from a place of like, I never really use poison types, so I kind of wanna, but I know the writing's going to be on the wall with that one. It didn't even do that much more damage. Oh! If I'd just thrown Spearow out, I could have avoided all that. But I really forgot how much raising your defense can just stall everything. Okay. They have an optional fight there. Misty gets to like level 20s, right? And like I'm not going to be able to level up Pikachu soon. What am I doing? Let's just fight him. Yo, Persona 5, that was the first video game. Just also isn't a strong poison attack in Gen 1. Yeah. I guess not, huh? Jeez, 14 Spearow. Doing 8 hit points, Spearow. Jeez. Alright. Toxic can stack with Leech Seed, as chat reminded me. So we'll be putting Toxic on his Bulbasaur, and I guess Bulbasaur is also a poison type, so why do I even care? Why am I even worried? I've never used the Nidos, so maybe that was also part of my desire on that, but whatever. Oh, that's Squirtle. He's keeping an eye on things. Bulbasaur might be taking a nap soon, but Squirtle and Charmander holding the fort down. Oh yeah, the European Nintendo collector stuff has been so much better lately. I'm not even like a Metroid guy, but I almost imported, which thing had like the Game Boy steel case for one of the Metroid games recently? I thought that looked sick. Must have been Samus Returns, right? Little ass. Yeah, Toxic Leech Seed. I'm excited for that. I think it's Razor Leaf, that's where the real fun is. Did everyone just give me the good one to be nice? Is that why we didn't pick Charmander? People like me. Come on. I wanted that fight. He's just, you know, he's watching. Bulbasaur doesn't want Toxic because he can't poison someone after using Sleep Powder. Do we want Sleep Powder more than poison? If we use Bulbasaur as our catcher, either way we do actually. Yeah, right. Especially on legendary birds, because if anyone forgot, they can dodge Pokeballs in this gen. Jeez, why did you do so much damage? Nidoran male. We're gonna get to see our Nidoran male. Is anyone excited? Squirtle, nice punch. Not worried about that. Testosterone. That is a nice thing about the overlay. I set that up. I didn't even know it would like real time display like hit points and everything. I just literally thought it would just display the Pokemon I had. Great. Also, look at the sun coming in on me here. Ooh. Alright, what can I do here? I would like to give this experience to you, I guess, right? God, Nidoran male looks so weird. The dodging thing is just cosmetic. Every time the ball doesn't miss, it always catches. So it just replaces the 1-0 and no shakes. Right, I forgot about that. Gen 1 is such a weird thing to look into. Like, if what I was reading into a few months back is accurate, for one, getting a Pokemon down to 1/3 health and then throwing an Ultra Ball is basically all you need to do. Because past that, it's just negligible. I had no idea. I thought you always wanted to get as low as possible, but apparently in Gen 1, like, it helps, but it doesn't really affect things that much. And like, for the most part, one of the most cost-efficient things might be just throwing a Great Ball at full health. Like, it's just such a weird, weird game. You have Pokemon. Are you another catcher? Like, what am I doing? I need like a mute toggle, I think. Just because I don't want to blow anyone's ears out with a fast forward audio screeching here. Alright, that's good enough. Boop. Wait. Okay. It said mute frame advance, and I thought that was the speed up, and I was like, that might be the best option I've ever seen in Visual Boy Advance. No dice. Solved it with Nidoking. God. The only status that helps with catching in Gen 2 is sleep, right? That was something else, yeah. Do legends have to be statused in Gen 1? I feel like as a kid I didn't mess with status effects and I still caught them. I know it makes it a lot easier, but... Pardon me. Pikachu's growing up. Look at him go. The other thing I should have been thinking of is Rock Tunnel is not going to be fun on Spearow. I probably should have just had him do all of these bug catchers. Didn't have much foresight on that one. Oh well. Come on. Okay, now if I remember right, these patches of grass are where you can start running into like a Clefairy, right? Maybe there's an Ekans along this route somewhere, maybe? I don't really remember that, but it feels like it could be right. You have a Clefairy to fight. Spearow can just be replaced with Dojo later on. Yeah, I'm not looking to keep this Spearow forever, but... Also, the more time has passed, the more I've been sold on maybe just running with Farfetch'd, honestly. Just because I like him. Fairy Mount Moon. Jigglypuff, that's what I was thinking of. For some reason in my mind, I just got them conflated, and I can't stop looking at its eyes. put it in Smash Brothers. You know, this may not work. This is the only time in Gen 1 where immediately she's got an encounter upon starting a safe route without moving. It can happen, it's extremely rare. I didn't know that. Huh. I wanted that to happen just as a failsafe. Okay, we're just gonna brute force it and hope it works. Okay, I think we're good. I didn't buy an awakening because I didn't think there was anything that would put us to sleep for a while. I forgot about this Jigglypuff. Oh, we're safe. Whew. Alright, we're good. So Spearow is asleep. We're almost to another Pokemon Center, so whatever. Woo, I better take a rest. Groan. Yeah, we got the sunset viz on. That's pretty cool, right? That'll last for like another 10 minutes. I always like the out-of-town Pokemon centers in Gen 1. They always felt weird. And I like that about them. I'm hosting a podcast tomorrow night. Apparently I set that up on a 24-hour reminder. Which is a good time to say, I'm pretty sure we will be streaming it. I will be hosting over at Shout Out Club Official. I'll be having a discussion with some boys. I need to remind myself who's on it. Because I thought someone was and they weren't earlier today. Oops. Boop, 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 boop. I will be on with Moriarty, that Trav guy, Brody, and Wolf Chaos on. We will probably be talking about how review scores don't matter, but we let them matter. Because I was looking at the Mario movie, and I saw people getting fear, uncertainty, and doubt with the Rotten Tomato score on that. And they're like, I don't know if this movie's going to be good. Like, what if it's actually bad? And I was like, you know what this movie's going to be. Why are you letting this dissuade you from anything if you want to see it? And I think that crew will be a good one to explore that talk with on a broader scale than just the Mario movie. So we'll be doing that. Go follow it if you haven't. I would appreciate it. We'll be hanging out there. I have 6 Pokeballs set in my belt. Okay. Lead seed. Enemy Pokemon evaded the attack. Yeah, that is a weird thing, right? You're unfollowing now. Well, thank you. I would love to drop 500 Pokédollars in this Magikarp. That's one of my traditions. I think this time I'm going to save it. Controversial, I know. Ugh, we're getting to a Gen 1 cave. I forgot about the Gen 1 caves. Banning Joey would be like, if I was about to die, I think that's when I'd ban Joey. That's the only time it'd feel right. That's Bide. Which one's this? Mega Punch? Water Gun. Mega Punch is after the cave. You know, like, biggest animated movie opening ever. Like, it's totally fine. People watched it and they really liked it. I have only seen like 1 or 2 people not like it. And I'm like, yeah, it's not an amazing movie, but what would you expect either, you know? I don't know why the Rotten Tomato average matters, but apparently it does still. It's just the fact that people look at the score or not the context of review that really gets me. It's like, oh, it's a 58 on Rotten Tomatoes, but then you read the reviews. It's like, yeah, it's a fun movie. It won't blow your mind, but You know, you like Mario, you probably like a lot of it. And it's like, why get anxious then? Just read the reviews. Which is better, the Pokemon anime or the Sonic anime? Oh, God. I'm just like trying to compare a 50 episode anime to a 1,000 episode anime, and I'm like, how do you even? How do you even? I guess I'd say Pokemon though. Also, bye, Srirachi Jirachi. Thanks for hanging out. Getting hungry, but I don't want to stop playing this either. I don't care about Sonic X. I have tried over and over to care about Sonic X, and I just can't make myself care about Sonic X. I don't even dislike it. I just put it on and I feel nothing. So I guess by default, no matter what, I would say the Pokemon anime. I was sitting and trying to have an internal debate over like, how much is too much, you know? Is 1,000 episodes I mostly don't think I'll ever watch worse than something I actively dislike? I don't know. Great question. Alright, so we're gonna fight you. Seeing Obama. Obama? Who is seeing Obama? I suddenly think I know who seeing Obama is. I think it's finally come through to me. Sonic X doesn't remind me of mission mode, thankfully. Oh, Claveria is a good sprite in this game. I forgot how good it looked, actually. I don't know, it's just... Maybe I need to like watch the Japanese version. Maybe it's one of those things where I just don't like the English version, but I feel like I wouldn't care about it even in like a better written version of it, you know what I mean? I don't know. You monster. You disgrace! There we go. Oh, right, you wake up and that takes a turn in this game. Ah. At least they're about to level up. If I hit it once, the audio is not so bad. Okay, that's good to know. David, you have the Sonic X Blu-ray now? Everyone has it except me. Oh. That was my folly. I bought the English version. I was like, maybe I'll like Sonic X this time. Cat's here too. Whoa. I was like, maybe I'll like it this time. And I started watching it and I was like, actually, no, I don't. I really don't. Oh, I gotta catch this. Hold on. I have to catch something in the Pokemon game. Hang on. This is so hot right now. Hold on. We're focusing. If I focus, we'll be more likely to catch it. I watched it in a language I understand. That was my first problem. With anime, that tends to be a bit of an issue. Oh, it worked. Whew. Its magical and cute appeal has many admirers. In sentence. Okay. That's where I'm at. I'm like, you know, it's awesome that this exists. Especially the Japanese version. Oh my god, people wanted that forever. It's also Sonic X. Should have watched it on Comcast on demand like you did. Maybe then I would have appreciated it more, you know? Sometimes the delivery method really helps. Slayers. What is Slayers? Is this an anime? Okay. There is a TM or rare candy down here that I think I want. From the 90s. I don't know how abrasive that Zubat cry is. Okay, that was 2 steps. I need to be catching these, but I also only have 2 Pokeballs now. And I'm like, in case I see another Clefairy, I kind of want to save them for that, because that sounds more useful. I can always come back and easily get a Zubat, but Clefairy I'd have to actually run around for. That just cut off. So I'm like, I'm gonna hold out until we have more money and things are easier. A weird thing about coming back to Gen 1 though, Magnemite isn't part steel, so grass does neutral damage. I was ready to just hit my head against this, but that's actually pretty okay. All things considered. No steel type, no dark type. Fairy type's a long shot. Voltorb? I don't have anything I'd rather... No. What? I just wanted to look at its moves. I didn't think it'd send it out. Oh my god, that sprite. Oh, that looks horrible. Okay, I'm gonna hit pound and just see how well we do. That wasn't good. Slayers is about a group of magicians and a warrior just going around protecting the world from evil. Is it good? Is it fun? I think I've seen you mention Slayers before, Frankenmutt. This Voltorb's gonna one-shot me, you just watch. Oof. Not great. Could be worse. I think the instruments do hold for longer sometimes. It is definitely a thing. Okay, cool. Well, that worked out. I didn't need to give Clefairy experience points, but I guess we did, right? Season 4 is the best. We got a potion. 30% critical rate because of its speed. Right. There we go. We have one now. I haven't saved in a while, so I'm just going to do that. There. There's a lot of the same voice actors. Ah, well there you go. I keep being unable to differentiate the bug catchers in the game from just like the other trainers that will show up, because I keep expecting to run into this dudes with Geodude and stuff, but there's still bug people in the cave. They are still here. Any move that says it has a high critical rate will do it most of the time. Never ran through with Persian either. Persian. Tripped over that one for some reason. I've heard tale of Persian's incredible slash rate though. So there's a part of me that always wanted to, just to see that in action. Where are the running boots? Ah, great question. If you put it into your Game Boy Advance and pray, and then the gods transform your cartridge, I think you get the running shoes in your Pallet Town, right? So I didn't even need to spend 500 bucks on the rope. You get one. Could be hitting my head against these Zubat, but I'm also like, what if I didn't, you know? Like, am I really gonna miss all the experience from a Zubat? Oh, Gen 1. I love just hearing about how dumb it is all the time. They ignore any attack buffs you have on a critical hit, which is just insane. Pokemon on 100 base speed have a 20% chance or so. The fastest, like Jolteon and Aerodactyl, have over a 25% chance. They fixed the focus energy glitch in Stadium and it's dumb broken. I didn't know that. Actually, I don't really know anything about Pokemon Stadium's handling. I know that was like a HAL laboratory joint, right? They programmed it technically, which is interesting to think about nowadays. There's Oddish gone. It's time! We got here quick. Minus some of the generous speed up we did earlier. We got here quick. After 2 boosts, crits don't deal extra damage, and after 3 or more boosts, crits deal less damage than a non-crit. Stadium introduces Substitute being able to block statuses. Do you still get hit with like a Paralyze or Sleep with a Substitute? Like your Pokemon does in Gen 1? My god. It is really hot, but yeah, having Pokemon, it is kind of weirdly nostalgic, isn't it? I like that. Alright, here he goes. Now remember, I'm doing Living Dex count, not Pokédex count. So I'm not mashing that counter in the bottom left up. This is still one Pokemon. Weird looking dude. I do need to see Joey's incredible skill at the quiz game. Thankfully, Stadium's coming out again tomorrow. That's kind of cool, right? I want to go down this way. Now you watch. I'm just saving here as I want to save for one, but I'm going to do this. This is going to be the one guy that actually throws out a Geodude. Okay. I remember the Academy being useful, yeah. Like, I actually learned things going to Pokemon Stadium 2's teaching stuff. Hiker's over to the left. There you go. Being stuck to the Rentalmon is incredibly unfortunate. I think it'll be... I don't think it's good that people are going to be forced to see firsthand how bad they were if they never had to know, but it is going to be fun watching some people find out about that stuff for the first time and be like, oh my god, why is it this way? Because even as a kid, I looked at that and I was like, what is going on? So that's going to be fun. I can't wait for all the kids to see all the old N64 models of the Pokemon and how horrifying they are. Like, oh, that's going to be fun. It doesn't erase that it's kind of a bummer that you can't... There's no Gen 1 on Switch, right? So you can't connect it, but... I'll take what I can get on this one. Right, Zubat's poison flying. So we could be Pikachuing these things, but... Alright, the Hiker's to the left, which means I will throw Ivysaur up front. No idea what I mean. The Oni Fox, hello. Hi. Hey.
It would be so awesome. It would be so cool.
Holy fuck!
I'm coming.
It's actually pronounced Wi-Fi, Ralph.
Thank you. Welcome to the stream. We're doing so much nonsense. Actually, it's going pretty okay. We've had Miss Puffles 698 follow us, so we're doing good. Oh, we have a Bulba Garden link? Hold on, let me click that. Apparently I wasn't following the OnlyFox. What did Franklin put in here? Yes! The weed-stained crazy Bulbasaur. That is worth a click if you've never seen Gen 1 or Venusaur. The hunger's catching up to me, I think. As a kid, that was just normal. It was just like, oh, this is how the Pokemon look in 3D, I guess. This is just how they actually look, right? Ooh. 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 Wordy Jess, we're getting Stadium 2 down the road, but for now it's just Stadium 1. Knowing Nintendo's pace, I'll see you in August for Stadium 2. We can just get something here. We can just do this. I'm not going to use this Clefairy. We can... Don't use it until it has Sing? Oh, it is a status move, isn't it? Am I going to want Clefairy for catching Pokemon later? Is that where this is going? You can give it Water Gun to get some easy levels off the Geodudes. I'll trust the council on this one. I was just waiting for that part of the song, honestly. Only if you wanted to use the thing as part of my team. Sleep powder from Ivysaur is better than saying, screw it! I don't want to use Clefable. Sorry, Clefairyble. There's our 7th one. We did it. Let's look at it real quick here. It's doing okay. Its status is okay. Man, that one, it looks kind of unfinished, huh? I like it. Give Jolteon Skull Bash. Don't mind if I do. Whoa! We walk through this whole ass empty room and this guy's surprised by us. Here we go. Oh, Ivysaur's back spray. Forget about this 10 power point grass move we got here. I don't know if I'm going to run out of here and heal, but... Well, who do we have to fight? The Team Rocket member will have some poison Pokemon, right? If there is one at the end. The fossil dude, I don't remember what he does. We'll be fine. It will nail pound for the rest of its life. The way it's supposed to be, damn it. Renegades and Zubats? Yeah, we're fine. We're soaking up this XP though. Coughing's coming up. Okay. I'm not my starter is my ride or die. I need to level this thing up more than anything type. But if Venusaur is going to be our main catcher with Sleep Powder, I'm okay with it soaking up a lot of the XP right now. Because, let's see. RBY, Cerebi, Ivysaur. It wore Sleep Powder before it evolves, right? Nope. Alright, Venusaur. When does Venusaur learn it? 55. What is it, a TM? Nope. Okay, so we wanted to get the XP. We're okay with that. We're going to see into its special rules in which you could not put more than one Pokemon in your opponent's party to sleep or freeze them. What? Is that a thing? Gen 1 and 2, I think you can put as many status effects on as you want throughout a party. The main thing, though, I don't know how link cable battles would work with that, but I don't think there's any AI in Gen 1 for trainers to switch out their Pokemon. I'm not sure when that actually got introduced at all, actually, really. Does it learn all the powers at once, or is it something else? I vaguely remember what you're talking about. There's definitely a Pokemon that does that. I just don't remember what it is. But I know what you're talking about, Frankenmutt. But yeah, grass is very good early on, so it'll work out. We just need to be mindful that he's not absorbing everything, right? Also, oh my god. I like that, but oh my god. Gen 1 AI always uses super effective moves, even if it is a status move. Oh my god. I didn't think it would do that much damage. At least I paralyzed it. Emote face. Does have a capybara teeth, doesn't he? I like it. Gen 1 sprites would be good emotes. It'd suck for when companies finally wake up and start cracking down on that stuff, but for then it'd be great. Team Rocket a threat? Am I going to get sweeped? His paralyzing is not stopping it. He doesn't care. Make Golbat an emote. Oh my god, Golbat. Gen 1 Golbat is crazy. Ah! Alright. Honestly, it would destroy me financially, but I'm kind of like, you know what? If this Raticate does just sweep me while paralyzed, I think it deserves to wipe out half of my money. Oh, there we go. Jeez, man. Alright, we're vine whipping it, whatever. Paralysis lower speed by 75%, so it's just that fast. I guess all my team is under leveled, right? Whew. I'm steamed. It does keep using quick attack, it's true. Alright, well. We could maybe arguably push through, but I'm cool with just using one on that. Okay. At least we survived? Where's the Chansey? Can Chansey be found in Mount Moon? I think in Let's Go it can be, but I don't know about Gen 1. Huh. Only Safari Zone. That's what I thought. That and glitches, right? Like the Cinnabar Island stuff. %1 chance in the Safari Zone. And Lake Game Dungeon. Cerulean Cave? I don't remember. With all the different Kantos over the years, I just can't keep track of encounter rates anymore, I guess. Oh, right, I didn't need to go this way. Huh. We'll take experience, and of course. I am not dealing with Sandshrew again. I know what happens. Hi, experiment. It's holding together a little bit so far. We haven't had any silly stuff yet. I really thought Pikachu would hold better against that Raticate, so I'm like, might need to bulk him up a bit, you know? So coming to the fact that when I was grinding for shiny Riolu and Sun, I got a shiny Chansey instead. Well, there you go. Shiny Chansey's not a bad one. I got one in a Scarlet raid. That was my first time I'd thought about shiny Chansey in a while, and that was like, I don't know what the odds are for Scarlet's raids to be shiny, but I know they aren't boosted by anything. So that was like an authentically rare shiny Pokemon, at least as far as new gens go. Oh. We are coming up in the first opportunity to obtain Mew. That is true. I'm not sure how long I'll go. Like, once we get this rolling, I might pause it, but that would give me time off, or pause it for the night, you know? But that would give me time to look into it. Because broadly, I know what I need to do. But I just want to go through everything and make sure. Hydrate, good idea. Paris is also here. Thank you, Spider Knife. If we weren't running with the Ivysaur, maybe give it some thought. Because I've never used Parasect either. Never had a reason to. If it wasn't for them being so aggro in Legends Arceus, it's one of those I'd risk forgetting exists. Do I know about the hidden moonstone near the end of the cave? I don't think I do. Since, yeah, no, I guess I don't. Right, here we go, up this way. This is where I goofed. I'm on Visual Boy Advance. I like MGBA more, but there's a program called PokeLink, which is what's displaying the live tracker on the left side there, and I guess it needs to see a weird fork of Visual Boy Advance for that to register, so I just went with it. No major complaints so far. But for other things, I do default to MGBA. Oh my gosh, here we go. One of the rocks on the right side of the screen, under where you fight the super nerd for the fossils. Oh, we can find that. Yeah, no, Visual Boy Advance is very nostalgic for me too, for sure. But yeah. It was, my neighbor's cousin or something put Visual Boy Advance and Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town onto like a disc or floppy disk or something for me as a kid. So that was how I discovered emulation existed. My neighbor was befuddled, and him and his big brother were like, dude, you can just play Game Boy Advance games on your computer and you can just download them. And I was like, what? I was like 6 or 7. I didn't know what that meant. 8. I forget when Friends of Mineral Town came out. Is that like an 03? So I was like 9 or 10 maybe. Blew my mind, but it worked. That's how I played the shit out of Friends of Mineral Town all the time. BGB or Sane Boy. Man, I haven't even heard of these. Alright, Zubat, you're rubbing it in. WarioWare? WarioWare on an E-Machine? I think that's the most thematically appropriate way you could play that, honestly. Barring, like, falling down into a sewer under Nintendo HQ and meeting Wario himself. So I think that checks out, actually. I gotta say, I wouldn't recommend anyone just bother with this live tracker stuff of their own accord if they weren't going to stream. But honestly, it is really handy to look over anytime I need to and see exactly how much health my party has left and like what order they're in and everything. Like I don't even need to open the menu for that. Not quite dual screen convenience, but pretty okay, pretty okay. Alright, back he goes. That's what you get for existing Geodude. Sorry. Ooh. Some easiest link cable systems going. I see. We're almost at the end of Mount Moon. It's never as bad as I remember it being as a kid. Maybe Zora has enough experience. So what I will do, I'll give you a potion. I don't need to save here, but I already had it hovering over that, so why not? Boop. Fossils. Just past this grunt. I gotcha. Different protocols. I see. I always really wanted to like Ammonite and Kabuto more as a kid, but by the time you can get them, they were just kind of novelties to have, right? Like I wasn't going to stop and raise them up with my team to take on Elite Four or Giovanni, right? Yes, at some point I'm gonna set up some other saves and start trading around, but for now, I guess it's kind of operating more as just a playthrough until I get the resources to double back and actually catch stuff without wasting everyone's time. The hidden moonstone is just past this grunt. You said it was to the right. I think I see where I need to go. I keep looking at that Squirtle. Yeah, that's exactly why I want to look into it tonight after stream. So I know it's like not exactly the Mew glitch, right? I grew up with the usual one on that. I just know it's a little more complicated. So I gotta actually sit down and look through everything on that one. I skimmed through it just to be like, oh, that's not so bad, but yeah. What does this guy have? I guess we'll find out. Have fun, Joey. Have fun at work. Grimer, there he is. There's the boy. Okay, I gotta set up the poll. We are almost there. Awesome. Helix and Dome. Right, alright. New poll. Which fossil? Ammonite. And Dome is Kabuto. And we'll run that for... We should be out of this fight in 3 minutes, right? Whoop. I think I can find it, but thank you. That's Slowpoke Trainer. I know it's either the Slowpoke Trainer or like the person just to the left of Nugget Bridge. Either way, I'll be avoiding both just to be safe. Yeah, my tummy's getting rumbly, so I think once we get this rolling, I will pause and look into it there and end the stream for the night. Volt Orb. Ooh. Is electric resist electric? Let's find out. For some reason I didn't think it did. I don't know what type I'm thinking of. Let's see what Nidoran can do. Alright, it's not going to be much at that rate. Oh, okay, that defense did not drop as much as I thought it would. We're fine. If that screech is coming through badly, by the way, let me know. I can turn the game audio down. For me, it's coming through, but I'm not sure if it's like too bad on the viewer end. Oh, we killed it. Thank goodness. Alright. We want to reset his defense, so we'll just get him out of there. It's just bad in general. Gotcha. Forgot about Gen 1 coughing sprite. Or at least blue version coughing sprite, right? Weird little dude. Left of the bridge is where you teleport, go to the gym, fight the first trainer right in there. When you scroll 7 times, you go back to another bridge, it'll spawn at level 1. Oh, well, thank you. That keeps it pretty well easy to remember there. I'll just screen cap that for my own purposes real quick. Thank you, experiment. I should set Nick's text notification to the screech sound. Oh, that's just cruel. I mean, Nick deserves it, but that's just cruel. My memory is messing up. I did get the moonstone. Okay. We'll each take one. Which one is the horseshoe crab? Oh no, there's a 50-50 vote! Who did this? Who did this? Alright. Well, you know, we're going to avoid Team Helix memes and go with Kabuto, I think. I think that's just how we're going to go on this one. I was on Google Images to remind myself which fossil was which. And I thought I saw Digimon styled art of each and got excited. That was not the case. Same with me in your first party. Make the first party member fight a level Pokemon, swap to one of your team member once you kill it, and it'll reach level 100 instantly. Right. Get that too. Boop. Alright. Thank you. Pick the water rock type. Sorry, Twitch plays Pokemon. At least they tell you when you can actually use it. There's a Paris. It's rare in here, maybe not in Safari Zone, but... Oh. I don't like that. It was... Was it natural decade? Jesus. That was all I was doing when that first started going on, man. We'll throw Fable out for the meme. Well, I mean, if it's already going to be that low, why not just catch it? Alright, cool. The one we catch later will be higher levels, so I'm going to count that as the one for the Living Dex. Suck tree roots. Amazing. Oh, come on. I'm back to the same dilemma? Alright. Executive decision. This time we're save stating. I have no shame. Why do you get 2 Clefairies? As I do not want to hunt for a Clefairy later. So if I can do this now, screw it. I'm not above it. Weak to fighting now, but in the future it'll resist it. You know, people just didn't understand it for a while, you know. Pikachu's dead. I can't paralyze it. Alright. Well, actually, I guess this is when you want to save state, right? Clefairy is sorted. We never have to worry about it. Thank goodness. Didn't even need to be a cheaty little jerk. To live in a universe where Pokemon Pink existed would be interesting. I mean, not that interesting, but you know, I'd like to see it. Ooh, what am I thinking of? Yep, there we go. Wasn't crazy. Now, there are Pokemon to hunt here, but we're not going to hunt them for now. I wish I lived in a world where Shuckle was the mascot. And that's Mega Punch, right? Whirlwind? I don't know what I'm thinking with Mega Punch. I think I'm just going to go through this whole game being like, so this is where Mega Punch is, right? Crystal Clear could probably fill that. Yeah. Crystal Clear, there's a cool thing. Mega Punch is Mount Moon? Did I just go buy it? Shit. Not that I want it, but... Hi, Blade Boy, what's up? I think you're here right for the very end. I'm gonna... heal up and probably call it. Almost 3.5 hours, man. Okay. We got farther than I thought we would. Fighting fit. Okay. Well, how dare you work, Blade Blur? Goodness gracious. Should never work. Oh, I can't take any more Pokemon. I can deposit Clefable. Don't need it. Paris, I don't need either. Red, new before Misty. Pony guides. Gotcha. The visual thing will probably help me, so I'll look into that. Alright, so in box 1 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 more spaces left. We have those taken care of. And a Weedle. Not 2 more Weedle. Okay, so that's where we're at. We we have more than 9 Pokemon, but I'm not counting a lot of these until they've evolved, so that's why it only says 9 out of 129. We've made better progress than that. Hopefully next time we'll start speeding it up some and really get going here, but that is the end. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tying the fossil float. Oh, it's disastrous. I like it though. We'll close that out. Who should I raid? Who is on? Yes, thanks everyone for hanging out. I'm enjoying this. I'm having a good time. Please mute my own stream. I'm looking forward to doing more of this. Not sure when. Tomorrow night, I'm streaming on Crub Official. Wednesday night's FTCR night. I'll probably be hanging out there. Maybe what I got going on the rest of the week. Maybe Thursday or Friday afternoon I'll come back, probably some more time and try to do more of this. And yeah, should be good. I'm hoping it'd be cool to beat Misty and Surge next time. We'll see how that goes. As for now, I'm going to make dinner, look into that Mew glitch more, and send you to Virtual Kazuma, who was playing Like a Dragon Ishin. Thank you, Joey, for the phone calls to inform me about your Rattata and your team members. And thank you to Oni Fox for rating, Miss Puffles for following, and 10 Elements for resubscribing with Prime. Thank you.
Enjoy your gaming.
Oh, not that one. That one. Okay. All right, I'm getting out of here. Bye. I'm probably gonna go play more Pokemon. The raid has been created. I like that they make you wait 10 seconds. You can't just be like, get out of here. All right, we're going. Bye, everybody. Take care. See you soon. Be healthy. Be well.